Boom, boom. This is Ken, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. All right, we got a bit of Soland Reloaded up today, so let's go ahead and take a look at the new pop-up. So we got the Rakshasa. I hope I'm saying that right there. The Rakshasa Scythes up today. So this is, you should be close to this one. Standard 15. Should have the next 15 in a couple of weeks, and you'll be able to actually summon the device. The Rakshasa Scythe, it's a pretty good weapon. SS Plus, it's another divine tool. So divine tools don't get a lot of, actual events for them very often. So it makes it difficult to actually get them up. As you can see, my current divine tool setup is not very good. I mean, I've got a couple SS Pluses, but really not getting any type of shards for them. Now on the SS's, as a matter of fact, as you can see, those are coming up pretty good, but these are pretty much useless. So even though these are only 1 star, I've been utilizing them, and I just pull up from these two, the SS's. I don't see, I prefer to not have to bring these up if I don't have to. I prefer to not waste the refinement materials on them and just instead start focusing on the SS pluses. But there's really not a whole lot of effort into the divine tools comparable to other devices. I mean, we've got plenty of hidden weapons and plenty of items that are usable. As you can see, I got 3 SS pluses maxed out, and I'm starting to work on the 4th. Plus, there are the triple S's in the pipeline. Combined with these 2 as well that we haven't quite finished yet, which the next events for these will enable us to finally summon both of these. But we've also got this one. So but divine tools have been sort of, I don't know, so it's been sort of relegated. I guess this tends to happen when you have so much stuff in the game. I mean, we've got hidden weapons, we've got the spirit souls, you've got immortal herbs, you've got the awakening. It's really difficult to have an event for divine tools very often. So something is obviously going to be sort of relegated to 2nd type tier, and it seems that the divine tools have been the ones to do that. But at least we're getting another one, so hopefully the next divine tool after this one, they'll just jump straight to triple S's. Which would be nice, but again, we're not getting shards for the SS pluses because there's just not enough events for them around. But it is nice to have one pop up. So Shopping Carnival still, they extended this to 12/1, so this is going to last for another day. They have not refreshed any of the stuff down here, so you still got some time to purchase inside of that if you want to. Time limited events. Nothing changed here either. Okay, so this is the same stuff that was in there before. So there's nothing new in terms of that. So really the only thing that they did was they popped up the Rakshasa Scythe. That's the only new item. Now in terms to my account, you'll notice that there's been a very huge jump in my BP, and I decided to finally go ahead and go all in on Evil Eye. I got him up, I got his armor up to where I wanted it to, so I just arranged the soul bones. I took the soul bone set from Wrong and applied it to him, and he just shot up. And as you can see, he's now the most powerful on the team. Okay, so he does not die. His skill set is more than sufficient for him to survive everything. He does tons of damage. I've nearly increased my sect boss damage by about 2/3. So yeah, there's no reason to not introduce him into your team at this time. He's an excellent character. And as I've always said, the reason his SS version was not successful is simply because of the fact that he died. He was the free character that everyone gave. And even in the anime, we always saw that he was always getting beat up. And at the end of any fight, he usually wasn't in very good shape. He was a melee character that did not have survivability. That has been solved with his skill set. So he now has survivability, and he's got several offensive capabilities to boot, which makes him a lot more powerful and an excellent character. So he, just as you can see, I've only got him at God 1 because, since he was just released, it's difficult to get a lot of shards for him at once. But we're going to start bringing up his divine tool. There's this, we've got a source inside the theater where we can consistently get a shard for him. I know it's going to take a long time that way, but also we're going to start seeing is that they start introducing SS characters. You're going to see shards for him inside of the events for that. Inside of the Soul Master shops, there'll be shards for him that you can get. Also starting to see some increase in drops inside of the actual summoning. So keep that in mind. Well, inside the Soul Hall. So he's starting to pop up in unusual places, getting shards for him. So that's one of the reasons we've been able to actually get him up. Already work through the first set of his divine skill. So shards for him should be present. So it's definitely a character that you should definitely consider, especially from a free-to-play perspective, on leveling him up. Now, of course, hopefully by the end of this week, we're going to see Ling Ling come out. She is a healer. I don't know if she's going to be able to break into the actual, I doubt very seriously if she's going to be able to unseat any of the current. I mean, you're going to need a tank, and you're going to need, you're going to need somebody doing AOE damage. So I really don't see replacement at this particular point, unless she does have offensive capability as well as with the healing, because as it stands right now, I'm just not really dying inside of any of the feats that I hadn't died in before. Okay, I mean, I noticed a slight decrease in the treant when I mentioned that he had died right at the end of the treant, but that hasn't happened since. I've went through 4 days, and he hasn't. Tangsen has not died again, so that might have been just a fluke. I don't know, but in terms of die, I don't die. I'm doing more damage, a lot more damage in some cases. So plus just the BP shot up was immense as well too. When I put the best soul building equipment, that's not the best soul building equipment. It's not on me. It's the third best. It's right behind the other. So I got 2 full sets, and I'll have that set completed shortly. So he'll have one of the best sets in the game at this particular time. So that's the reason he shot up so far, just with base stats. Putting a pretty good set on him, getting him fully maxed out in terms of his get him up to 5 sun. Yeah, he's obviously going to be a little bit ranked, and all of the triple S characters are going to be like that. So it's just something we have to wait for. So we'll wait and see what Ling Ling comes out. We'll see exactly how much of an increase we could possibly get from her. We're going to have too many healers. We're going to have Rong Rong, of course, and then we got Ayen, she's SS. We've got Oscar, and he's SS. We don't need 4 healers because we only have 2 teams. And survivability. Coming off of them, with the support skills is something feasible, but even at that, we shouldn't need more than 2. So based on that, I was obviously going to cash in. I've always said I was going to cash in Oscar. I was going to regenerate him to get the materials and some of those soul rings that we need, and I was going to put those onto Ling Ling. That's still the plan. Once I have to confirm that once we haven't had a chance to see your stats yet. But so that was always the plan. So I'm just waiting. So that's going to happen, and that'll be the first SS that we've actually regenerated, because he's not really being used right now. He's not in the team. I don't have him in any of the teams. He's one. I don't have room for him. So there's really no use keeping him around just for the BP that he offers. Once I regenerate him, I'm going to lose some BP. But then when I start throwing those mats into literally, I'm going to get all of that BP back plus more from having a second triple S character near max. So it's a win-win for both places. So that's something that we'll be doing once the 3rd event drops for her. It'll be the 3rd event for the shark, which will be the first. Is actually going to be the first event for Lily. That'll be when she's quote introduced. So you can start looking for that. One of the ways to know when it's coming is to just look in the Soul Masters. and just scroll to the back and just look and see. When you see her picture in here, you know that the event is pretty close. As you can see, we don't have not have a picture for her yet. We only have the shark. So yeah, like I say, the third event for her should be coming up. We'll be getting our founding 20 shards to make her, if you want to, and it'll be the introduction for Ling Ling, the healer, her first triple S healer. So we'll have to see. But yeah, so that I'm hoping that's going to come out sometime the end of this week would be my assumption. That would put it at about two. That's roughly the 2 weeks. Usually runs 2 weeks between the events, so that should be happening. But we'll definitely, of course, cover it when it comes out. But yeah, like I say, my opinion of Evil Eye is probably at this point I would have to consider him the best character in the game. He definitely does the most damage. Survivability is absolutely not a problem whatsoever with him. So they've completely eliminated that from his SS version with the Triple S version. And he just, with his survivability and the damage that he can rack out, he's definitely one that you want to consider. So if you do have some shards and if you're looking something to do in, I would definitely focus on getting him up, even so that you can get him in your team. Because like I say, he is a Triple S, so right away he's got the best base stats. But yeah, just put good stuff on him, and he should serve you well. And I don't think you'll have any trouble with his survival. At least I have not. And I'm able to get in the top 5 inside of the Treant and all that stuff. So yeah, it shouldn't be a problem with focusing on him and putting him in as your team. And then, of course, I'm in my case, even in recomps of the healer, it proved to be more beneficial since healing. All the characters, you can put divine weapons and you can put spirit souls and whatnot on them that assist with your healing, so that you have supplemental sources of healing, or shields, healing and shields that you can get from actually accessories and skill sets instead of having to focus on putting a healer directly into the team. At low levels, a healer is best, but with the rate that we're getting new weapons and hidden weapons and spiritual, we're actually getting more ways to heal than literally actually using a healer in the team. And a lot of games end up doing that with instead of having a base healer, you can at a certain level switch out without and get to the point where you can heal enough without having a healer. But the healers tend to be very useful at lower levels before you build up and strengthen those minor characters. You always need a healer, but it gets to a point where you can pretty much just sustain with other items instead of having one of your entire team members take it up with just healing, because if one character is focusing on healing, they're not doing damage. So so you have to make sure the decision is right. I mean, if you the best way to do it in this game is easy. Test it, because you can do the regeneration. You can try something. Substitute. Go for 3 attackers and a tank and see if that's something that works for you. If you're dying, then of course it's not something that might be useful to you. But at my case, at level 104, it's not a problem. I'm still capable of surviving inside of all of the events. So and it's made a huge increase in my damage. So definitely something you might want to consider. So the main team is, of course, Evil Eye, Sea God, Ren as the tank, and Clear Sky as attacker. So these 3, he's melee, but I find out that he spends a lot of time zooming out and then zooming back in. I'm not exactly sure. It's just the movements. I mean, he's zipping really fast around the screen. So even though he is melee, he sort of sometimes spends time at distance, so he's not technically a constant melee range like Red and Clear Sky. Clear Sky never leaves melee range unless I send him to, like, instead of this, some of the actual events, where they pull up in the sec where the little totem appears and you need to destroy the totem as fast as possible. Um, and I click on it. He zooms out, takes care of it, but then he immediately zooms back in and stays at melee range. Evi goes into melee range, does a lot of damage, comes out, then goes back in, comes out, goes back. So he spends a lot of time moving. This is one of the things that makes him extremely useful inside of the actual Soul Ascension platform, because this, as you can see, I'm at 13.6. I was barely able to get. I got 13.1 was the max I could get with Wrong as my healer. So with Wrong, so when I took Wrong out and put Evil Eye in, I didn't put the massive soul bone on him, but he was still the third most powerful on the team. I immediately got to 13.4 just doing that. And then a couple of days ago, day before yesterday, I took off the soul bone set that I had on Wrong and rolled it over to Die. I'm already up to 13.6. So I jumped another 2 levels. So he works out really well inside of the Soul Ascension platform, mainly because of the fact that when they spawn, when the Phoenix spawns, they come from both sides. They don't come from just the right side on the field. They come from both right and left and converge on your team. So it's nice to have someone who has the capability to maneuver quickly across the screen. If, you watch Evil Eye inside of Soldier, but he's all over the place, and he can do it quickly. So that makes him a lot more useful inside of Soldier platform. So I think that's a lot of the reason why I was able to progress. It did give me a BP boost, but it also gave me the ability to do more damage and spread out that damage, even though he's not an AoE, but actually do more damage across the screen. So that made him exceedingly useful inside of here, and allowed to get me another couple levels on that. So I was decently close to beating this. I still had a few. I had actually eliminated the Phoenix, but I was not able to kill the minions in time before the time ran out. I had one minion was pretty much dead, and the other one was about half. And when time ran out, so I'll probably beat this probably within the next day or two, once I get a little bit more BP racked up. So it's I would definitely go for him if you got him. I would definitely max him out. Putting him in your team can't hurt. Okay, definitely one of the best characters, if not the best character in the game at this particular point. So we'll have to wait and see. But he is a triple S, so that's not surprising. Generally, when you get the first character in a new set of high level characters, generally it's an okay character, but it's not a great character. I see him to be a great character with the skill set and the damage. If you can survive without a healer, go for it. So 2 teams. I would say when you're young, early, just starting out, you of course want to have 2 attackers, 1 melee, 1 AoE. You want to have a tank, okay, and then you want to have a healer. But as you get more hidden weapons and you get more items that can focus on healing from a secondary source, then you might want to consider taking away your healer and putting in another attacker. Okay, so that's something that you need to consider as well. Try it. We've got to regenerate, so if you bring one up and it doesn't work, you can always adjust to something else fairly quickly. But just try it. Just take out the healer, see if you can survive. I mean, he has no I've never had any issue with these 2 surviving, even though they're attackers. Ren, of course, she heals herself. So I've never really had issues with these, with survivability of these 2 characters. I was mainly using my healer to keep herself alive, but to focus on Sea God Tank Sam because he is ranged and he doesn't have a whole lot of healing capability. But at the same time, as I'm ranking up his God skills, his survivability is increased by enough that he really doesn't need a healer. So that's why I can get away with putting Evil Eye in there. So yeah, definitely want to focused on that. I've got he's a melee character, so put a melee set on him. Okay, any type of melee, any type of shielding would be useful. But in terms of survivability, I don't really see that he needs it. So I would just focus purely on both on attack, melee attack. Don't put, of course, anything that's a ranged weapon on him that does ranged attacks. Put a weapon on him and make sure that it's for melee character, and you should be fine in terms of getting his damage. Yeah, you won't need to see anything with the survivability. All right, so that's all I got. Just wanted to give you a quick brief update. We'll go on. We'll do another video, of course, here in a few days. Hopefully, we'll get to see the third event for the shark and make some decisions at that time when we get to see Ling Ling's skill set. Okay, so this is Kenra coming at you from the corner. Always remember to subscribe to the channel. Once you've subscribed, you'll see the bell. Click on it. You get notified each time I drop a video. Also, liking and sharing the video does help the channel immensely. This is Kenra coming at you from the corner. Signing out.